You were around the forum for when Walrus Guy was still around and making videos. Do you remember the kind of backlash he would get for being the most popular?
It wasn't just Walrus Guy, it was Deeper Cut, and Crobo Productions was just getting to become popular. He was almost becoming a more accepted form.
Like, being a successful YouTube pooper, getting a lot of views, was actually kind of frowned upon.
It was more so that they didn't deserve the popularity, which I disagree with, of course.
Everybody knows that the YouTube Poop Search front page is reserved for overrated, really bad poops with bad memes, old jokes, and other terrible shit.
Even back in the day, it essentially went against sort of the spirit of what the videos were about. They're not supposed to be like a media source that people tune into. That's exactly the kind of thing that the videos are parodying and mocking.
For a while, there was this desire to keep outsiders away from YouTube Poop and to, really like hold tightly to it and be like, this is our thing. We don't want it to blow up. We don't want people to see, like what we're doing on such a large scale. We don't want it to turn into like some terrible mainstream thing, which, in hindsight wasn't really like a great way to approach it.
These videos sort of become conventional and mainstream. It's just paradoxical in a sense. People don't tend to like it, or at least that's the impression I got from the community when my stuff started getting a lot of views. People just didn't like me as much anymore.
I knew that like people would hate on others like for having large view counts and whatnot, though I didn't know that itself was like considered a negative.
I don't care whether or not my videos get seen by anyone. If they do, that's great, but that's not what I'm trying to set out to do.
Why did you make these videos for so long, years, without anyone really watching them?
Yeah, just kind of made him. Don't really know why. I just kind of did. I think there's something wrong with me.
It sounds like no one was really watching, at least in the beginning, so why did you keep making them? Who was your audience?
Me. I made them to entertain myself.
That's kind of always been like my approach to making stuff for the internet. I'll think of a joke, and if it's funny enough, I'll make a little thing out of it and just post it on the internet. Whether it appeals to 3 people or appeals to like 1 million people doesn't really matter to me.
With every video that like has a bunch of views on my channel, I just like look at it and I'm just like, why? Why though?
That's always been my dream. Don't let anything I do to trend ever.
I'm not judging my videos based on the views that they are getting. I mostly judge the quality of it.
It still feels weird that this many people watch this stuff.
It kind of feels like it should be niche, right?
Yeah, it should be.
Like, if you want to get lots and lots of views, YouTube Poop is not the place you want to be.
Might be. Oh, there it is. It just has a changed title because this guy is pissed off that people like this video. That's also a thing. Pretty common in the YTP community. Something that I would say keeps on to this day. Sometimes a creator works a lot on a video and gets no attention, and he makes something in 5 minutes and that blows up. That can be like really discouraging. It's like, oh, why even bother then, right? Why even try harder if I can just make something real quick and people like it more than the work I was actually involved in?
I remember I would get a little worked up about the view count on the Spanish project.
I don't know why this video is so popular, because I noticed, of course, that there are 11 million views, and I said, what the hell with that video? I did it in a couple of evenings, and I thought that this video will not be so popular.
My YouTube poops just got average viewership levels until I made Dr. Rabbit as racist. Nick Shorts, who was at the time on the top 100 YouTube poops list, his Dr. Rabbit poop was #1.
Hello there, Carmen! Good to shag you again, my friend.
I made Dr. Rabbit as racist, a response to that video, and Nick Shorts loved it, and he posted a link to it on the YouTubepoop.com forums at the time. So that got a lot of views, and people subscribed and continued to watch my other things because of that.
In 2011, I made a YouTube poop of Boss Rutten.
Welcome to Boss Rutten's Lethal Street System. I've been around.
Dinner Warrior, who was a bigger name in YouTube poop at the time, saw that video and actually included me in a list of like other active YouTube poopers for people to check out. So that was a really big boost. I think when that got shared, I immediately went from like 500 or 600 subscribers to like 3,000 or 4,000. So that was a big boost for me.
I was big on two of my channels, which was Tom Servo 3 and Tom Servo 3 Alt. And Tom Servo 3 originally almost had, I think, 4K and got suspended. And then Tom Servo 3 Alt, I think, was nearing 3K. I remember hitting the 1K milestone and making a video about it.
For the average pooper, just getting like 1,000 subscribers was a big enough deal.
This was back when having more than 1,000 subscribers on YouTube basically meant that you were, kind of a big deal, at least in Sweden. I think I was like one of the most subscribed to people in Sweden at the time, and that was pretty insane.
This was the most popular video I ever ended up making, The Uncredibles. By then the editing has gotten quite a bit better, but still looking back, it's pretty crude.
Saying we shouldn't help our customers? Yes! We're supposed to help people. We're supposed to help!
I was at 2,500 subscribers on YouTube, and out of nowhere it got like 1 million views in 6 months. And it was just completely mind-blowing.
Oh, my back!
It's weird to think that like even all this years later, this is still the most viewed thing I've ever made on the internet.
If you're talking about that Toy Story one that I did.
So you got rid of him. You're gonna knock me out of the window too? Yes! Backstabbing murderer.
It's over 2 million views now.
Yeah.
I do not understand why, but at the same time, whenever I look up other YTPs based on Toy Story, they all have an outrageous number of views.
Candace Opens an International Portal is over 1 million views now.
It was something that I definitely poured a lot of work into. Like, I remember when I was in school and I legit pulled an all-nighter working on that final scene, like where they're battling Ciarda.
I shall destroy everything.
Oh, crap!
These videos have like no business getting this many views, but for some reason YouTube promoted this very heavily. I remember like going over to my friend's house and showing him the video as I was working on it. Like, it wasn't really made to be viewed by millions of people, but it just ended up that way. There's like no consistent formula to it. Like, you can't try and upload a video and get 1 million views on YouTube. But that's kind of the fun of YouTube, where there's no expectation that it has to be like this big grandiose thing that's trying to get like the approval of everyone. It's very personal in a sense, where you're like, this is just like kind of a reflection of what I find funny. I probably wouldn't be on YouTube and doing YouTube as like a full-time career if this video didn't get popular.
You uploaded the water news video, and for more than a year, for almost 2 years, it wasn't very popular, right?
Yeah, it just like, it all of a sudden just got into the algorithm one day, and that's basically all that it needed.
The monsters infiltrated is dead! Where will everyone get their scream now? The energy crisis will only improve!
When it actually started to get popular is when I uploaded the next water news video, because I made another one because like it was getting popular, so I'm just like, okay, guess I'll make another.
That's my boy!
I made the channel just to have a place to upload it, actually. I wasn't really expecting anybody to see it, and so I went a few months without checking it, and then I logged back in and went, wow, this has like over 100,000 views already, and I'm like, maybe I should make more.
I can give you my advice in 2 words. Wow, Smims. Okay.
Big motivation, it seems like, was the success of your older videos.
Yep. Seeing that first 100,000 or whatever, I thought, well, okay, obviously people like it, and I got a lot of, a good like ratio on it, so then I thought, well, I'll just make more then.
You don't correlate videos, like how proud you are or how successful a video is to you, with views.
Right, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't necessarily base it on views. Of course that does help, and I try to stick with what the people like.
You, it sounds like, have always seen a high view count as a good thing. There's nothing wrong with having a big audience in the YTP world.
The thin line you walk with that is don't get a big head. I kind of went down that road to an extent at one time, and yeah, it's just fun. Like, just be kind to your audience.
I will admit, sometimes I am a little disappointed when a video doesn't get that many views after I've worked on it, but I don't worry too much about that kind of thing.
Nowadays, I would say the absolute opposite. I would say, like, anybody who wants to make them, I would encourage them to. And I really don't mind if it becomes a super mainstream thing.
Deeper Cut, actually, in the summer of 2008, he actually became far more accepted on the forums.
I wasn't aware of any animosity towards the bigger guys. We kind of just looked up to them, really. Because for a long time, you know, it was just populated by teenagers, and teenagers get really petty. By the time I came to the scene, all those original teenagers grew up. They're all adults.
A lot of people still think I'm all bent off about this. I don't really care anymore. It's just dumb drama in the past. I don't let it keep me up at night.
I feel like I've strayed away from what's like normal in YouTube poop, started treating it more like a traditional YouTube channel. I would try to upload on a semi-consistent basis. I would make sure that like the thumbnails and the title were appealing. I did like subscriber specials occasionally, so I was making people like videos. I was making videos that people wanted to see.
You're very subscriber oriented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say so. I try to keep the subscribers happy, yeah, for sure.
It's China's fault. It should have never happened.
That was my main thing with the presidential debates.
Mr. President, you paid $7 a year in federal income tax.
I paid $38 one year. Like, I don't want to pay tax.
The first ones from the first election, the 2016 election, got millions of views. So I thought, well, I don't know if mine will get millions, but it'll draw people in who maybe weren't subscribed before. I'm hoping to reach, by the end of this year, 50,000.
The Patreon and stuff didn't really come later, and that came as a side effect of a lot of my own views politically kind of changing. I started really being resentful of the way a lot of like business YouTube channels, like career YouTubers, were doing things.
I was never comfortable with the idea of making money off of other intellectual property. It doesn't even occur to me to make money off of it. If that's something that other people do and can get away with, more power to them. That's not something I've ever been comfortable with, even from like a moral standpoint. Like I don't like the idea of making money off of essentially what is just somebody else's work.
A big part of why I like YouTube Poop, like as a community, is because nobody seems to really be doing it for money, at least from when I was an active watcher. It was always just a thing done for fun, just to make others laugh, and I always really liked that.
Definitely extremely frowned upon to like use YouTube Poop for like commercial gain. And I would say like it still today, like I wouldn't use like YTP for commercial reasons. It's usually like remixing stuff that already exists. It's straight up like not legal.
I've always found that monetizing YTPMV, like your videos itself, are kind of silly because a lot of the time it's another person's song, you know, so it's like if it wasn't for that person's song, you know, maybe they should get a cut of it too.
Do you feel the same way about YTP?
So I'd prefer not to, because the whole idea of it is that it's, you know, decentralized, non-political, not commercialized. As Deeper Cut once said, YouTube Poop does not pay the bills.
There was a particular moment, a dark moment in YTP history where someone basically made a video announcing that they were like making money off of their YTPs. Like that's what they were going to start doing. And when people caught wind of that, it was it exploded in the most negative fashion you can imagine.
Money is such a beautiful word.
I know!
Some of the only people in the community that has ever made money through it are like me, Zarlable, Motendu, like a very, very small amount. And every single time we announced that we made money, we would just get like ridiculed from the rest of the community. That phrase, YouTube Poop doesn't pay the bills, and they always like joke around and saying, well, it's paying my bills.
Are you aware of like the YouTube anthem? The story about that song is that it gained a lot of popularity because audio swapping, at the time artists were listed alphabetically, and obviously 009 sound system was going to be like right at the top. But that's actually not the full story. The record label behind this track, they were kind of paying people to audio swap to this song. And I was one of those people, so I know this. I audio swapped several videos to that song. Originally they hit me up about this video contains Win. I eventually like grew tired of that whole fad and kind of like, you know, audio swapped it just for fun to some random song. But then they reached out to me and they were like, hey, we saw your video. We'll give you like $100 if you audio swap it to this song. And I was like, cool. And then I was like, hey, I have these other videos that I don't really care about. Can I audio swap them too for money? And they were like, sure. And I got like $50 each for those videos. It's like so random, because why would you want your song on like a still image of Robotnik? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
That was before I monetized my channel, which I don't know if a lot of YTP creators do that actually, but I did. I think just a lot of YTP creators, you know, mostly see it as a hobby, which I mean I do too, but of course to have some money backing that is always helpful.
It's like my job now. Yeah. I hate that.
In the beginning of 2012, my friend offered me to join the YouTube partnership. It contained a chain of mediators. One mediator took his money, second mediator took his money, and for me, I earned like $20. In Russia, YouTube partnership pays less money than it pays in the USA.
1 month, somewhere around $500 or $600.
The Rhythm Heaven collabs made me a few $100s. A few of my other stuff made me some good money. Back when I was with Maker Studios, I think that was the first time I ever got a check from like my videos, which really helped my family like see that there's a purpose to making these. Eventually it came to like people commissioning me to make certain YTP MVs, like, hey, can you use this source with this song?
I did get paid $50 once for a commission, but that was it. It was for a JonTron JoJo YTP MV. I had never watched a single episode of JoJo and I didn't know what it was, but it was a song from that and the guy paid me $50 to make it. That's the only time I've ever made a cent off of my YouTube channel.
When I first monetized, I was surprised I could, honestly, because it's not my content. I thought I wouldn't be able to. And then I thought, well, you know, I might make $20 in a month or so, and then I think the first day or two after I was monetized, I'd already made like over $100, close to $200, and I went, wow, this actually is going to pay off.
Look, Mangoes, we always admired how much money he was able to make off the internet.
Back before you could have like ads running on your videos, this was before any kind of monetization was really common on YouTube. So what I would do was I would use Fiverr to basically be like, hey, I will like give you a shout out on my YouTube channel for $5, and you know, I did make a couple of $100 from that, if I remember correctly.
When was this?
2009, 2008.
Oh
maybe.
my god, dude, you were so ahead of the times. Holy cow. You totally saw the whole Patreon credits thing coming. Oh, that's awesome.
Lately, I've been putting the patron roll at the end because it's a fun incentive. If people want to throw me a couple bucks, they get, you know, rewarded with having their name in the credits that they can look for if they want. The key things are that I want it all to stay free. I mean, like, I'm not gonna put any like special behind the scenes or any like videos behind a paywall, and I'm not gonna pressure people. I'm not gonna use my platform to make people feel like they need to give me money or that like it's their responsibility to like keep me afloat, because it's not. It's all entertainment. I don't want to manipulate people. There's a big danger that comes with using your platform irresponsibly and manipulating people, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to ever even give people the idea that I'm doing that.
They are making these videos that are entertaining so many people. I personally do not see the problem with it. I actually envy them because they've been able to turn this into a way of getting a profit. I actually contribute to the things on her Patreon. I contribute $5 a month because not just, you know, because she's great, but I also believe that we need to put our money where our mouth is.
Certain YTPers have like Patreons and whatnot. More than anything, it just sounds very strange to me. And honestly, if it was completely legal, like if I could make videos like Skellington's Revenge or Alan Under Fire or No Ed House for a living, I'd honestly be down with that.
People sell merch or, you know, have a Patreon or something. I don't really care anymore. I mean, everybody's trying to find their own gig in life. I don't fault them for it.
Merch of my own stuff is kind of something I fantasize about, to be honest.
My main item that I've sold the most of would be this mug that has either my logo on it, or there's one that says, because it's a joke from one of my Paula Deen videos, it says Swinced milk on the side.
My very last ingredient that goes into my dish is 30 cans of Swinced milk.
Per year from the channel and merch and all that other stuff would probably be roughly $9,000-10,000.
I currently have a merch store that's on my website. I make all the designs myself. I have to make the designs not specifically based on a piece of media. When you're doing your merch stuff, you have to be very careful that you're not like stepping on the toes of too many like corporations, or otherwise you might get in real trouble for that.
Uploading someone else's copy without permission could get you into a lot of trouble.
I actually had a couple Power Rangers videos that are gone because Saban was going crazy, claiming all videos that had any like Power Rangers content in them. This also happened with Viacom and SpongeBob for a while.
People were up in arms about SpongeBob YouTube poops, even though I didn't personally make them because I knew they would get copyright striked by Viacom and all that stuff. I was just about as enraged about it.
2011, 2012, I made like videos making fun of Viacom.
I may not speak for everyone that watches this video, but I'm pretty sure I do speak for Viacom when I say this. The people that you're going after are your customers. We're the people that dislike you as.
There used to be a blacklist of sources, like avoid these sources if you don't want to deal with copyright bullshit. SpongeBob was on there, but nobody learned a goddamn thing from that. Everyone just kept pooping SpongeBob because he was one of those sources that even if you made a really bad poop, you'd get like at least a few 100,000 views regardless.
If I decide to make a SpongeBob video, it's gonna get removed probably, and I just have to live with that.
I think it was harder to get away with Simpsons Futurama because there's always copyright trouble back then.
Copyright is a form of protection for original works of authorship, including literary, dramatical, musicary, graphical, and literary creations.
Now the system is a lot less harsh, so you see more people getting away with that stuff. But I remember back then, Viacom and Fox were the two biggest offenders at just massacring these channels.
You could lose your booty. Or worse, you could lose your YouTube account.
I got suspended and terminated several times. I would make videos about it.
My first channel was banished, and my second channel was banished.
2016 year was so crazy because it seems like AK-47, ratatatatata, and so much videos breaking down. I don't know what happened.
You only get a few chances. If YouTube receives alleged video, the video will be removed in accordance with the law.
Copyright strikes you can see often on my channel. YTP, in the genre, there are a lot of other content from the internet. YouTube just banishes it.
How many banished videos do you have?
Something about 15 or more.
Back then on YouTube, it was like 3 strikes and they'd delete your channel entirely with no chance of appeal.
You'll get a strike. If PETA finds you're a repeat offender, you could lose your life.
A lot of people didn't care because there was no expectation that you'd make any money off of it. This is back before most people could even make money on YouTube.
I don't care. If I get banned, so be it. This is what it is.
A lot of it was just like a fun thing people did, either by themselves or with their friends. It was the era where you would just like put something on YouTube just to see what would happen.
I went out of my way to make a video making fun of YouTube when they gave me a partnership offer.
How old were you at the time?
I was 14.
You were 14 and they offered you a partnership?
Yes.
And so why did you say no?
Well, because my videos used source material that wasn't mine, and at the time, even if you like hummed a song that was copyrighted, they would like shut you down. So I didn't want to take the risk.
You usually had to just like get a source that was like really low quality, low bit rate, just completely pixelated, unregistered hypercam. Those videos would usually stay up because the quality was too low for the automated system to pick up that it matched the content.
Part of the reason that a lot of these guys settled on the incredibly low quality crap that they did was probably because of the fact that who the heck is going to sue for ownership of Hotel Mario? They were taking incredibly obscure bits of popular culture, right? So in a way, they were kind of avoiding some of the copyright law pushback, because what they were taking was just so unbelievably out there that they weren't drawing much attention.
I remember there was a period of time where YouTube actually wrote in their rules, it doesn't matter how much you edit something, it's still copyright. It was like this really slightly unprofessional, very personal sounding message in the upload, it's not fair use for this. And it's one of those things where it's like debated still.
Depending on whether or not the use is a fair use. In the United States, copyright law allows for the fair use of copyrighted material under certain limited circumstances without the prior permission from the owner. Under the law, determinations of fair use take into account the purpose of the use, the nature of the copyrighted work, the amount and substantiality of the work used in relation to the work as a whole, and the effect of the use of...
It's never been protected by fair use. I remember when people would always put in their descriptions, this is fair use, like I don't own Super Mario Brothers. It never helped.
And one of the reasons why like I intentionally spelled a lot of names wrong, I remember people believing back then that like YouTube would strike down videos if you spelled like the character's name out. So if you wrote like Mario or Mega Man, like they would take it down for copyright.
I got suspended for using Dr. Rabbit in a YouTube poop back when Colgate was like actively striking down videos with the Dr. Rabbit. People were changing the titles to like anthropomorphic surgeon instead of Dr. Rabbit, just trying to get around so that Colgate doesn't find it.
Dr. Rabbit.
Hello there! I am Dr. Rabbit.
I assumed it was okay. I assumed Colgate didn't care.
I am going to teach children all around the world how to keep black people away.
I was wrong, of course, and they started taking down videos.
Walrus Guy, if I remember, that video got him banned, I think?
I was eventually suspended from YouTube because 3 of my Dr. Rabbit poops were removed due to copyright claims from the Colgate-Palmolive Corporation.
Doctor? But there's nothing wrong with us.
That's bullshit, and you know it.
Everybody knows that when you've got Dr. Rabbit saying absolutely absurd, horrific things, no one's going to assume that Colgate did that.
Stuff had been taken down in the past, but I decided, you know what, I think these are fair use. I'm going to contest this. And so I did, and the videos got back up, and they never bothered anyone again.
What Colgate and YouTube probably expected to happen in that aftermath was that Walrus Guy would go away. He did not. And in fact, all these YouTube users started reposting the video. And so you can still find the video in all sorts of different incarnations all over the web. It lived, even though that user was banned. And Walrus Guy almost became some type of strange Robin Hood figure for copyright and free use.
I can't really blame Colgate for this because, like, they didn't understand what was happening, right? And they saw what seemed like a potential threat to their brand.
People thought that I was taken to court after I brought this up, and so, you know, I just sort of went along with it. That was sort of a fantasy for me, like the idea of a jury having to, you know, like these random adults who are called to jury duty have to watch this Dr. Rabbit YouTube poop and decide on whether it was illegal or not. It was big back then because nobody had done that for YouTube poop at the time. Yeah. So it was like, oh, hey, we can actually not have our accounts deleted and have to start over whenever somebody sees the stuff that we made. They also seem to have a lot stronger standards for what people are able to monetize. They have a rule, thanks to all those Spider-Man Elsa videos, you can't use children's characters in adult situations and monetize that. Look at all these Adult Swim Robot Chicken videos and stuff up there. You know, they still get to monetize it. It's still fair use when Robot Chicken does it.
I think the difference is that it's from a network, so they have more clout to be like, hey, this is
exactly.
There should be some copyright laws in place to protect like small creators and like individuals making things. I wouldn't want somebody taking one of my video essays and like making me say like racial slurs or anything like that. Yeah. And for like larger corporations, what threat even are we to the value of your work? Screw it, get rid of it. I don't want the copyright system at all, but I also know that that's not really reasonable.
Are you picking your sources with copyright in mind?
I stick to the content I've been doing mainly because I know people enjoy it, but copyright also is a concern. Some Judge Judy videos have claims, but they still allow me to share the revenue, so they say. The Family Feud video has a claim and it's ineligible for monetization, period. Mm-hmm. So it kind of just depends on the copyright holder, I guess.
I fully realize and understand that what we are doing is not legal, maybe not immoral, but it is certainly illegal.
Remix is really the concept that's fighting the copyright war.
Lessig's goal in Remix was not just to talk about the quality of art of Remix. He was trying to make a comment about copyright law. And he was making an appeal that we need to reform copyright law. He saw a burgeoning generation of potential artists who would be very frustrated by the way that we looked at intellectual property. That collision with them and Michael Rosen was exactly what some of the things that Lessig was warning about, that intellectual property and copyright can diminish creative expression because of the way that we understand it.
I really do genuinely think that the whole system needs to be overhauled in terms of how copyright is handled, especially because YouTube does so much stuff automatically. That really bothers me because it messes up a lot. I think that there is room to allow people to create and not have their creations taken for profit.
When Lessig talked about remix, he was talking about mostly music. He talked a lot about Girl Talk. And Girl Talk at that point was making most of their music purely through remix. And there was a big discussion about whether or not Girl Talk's music should be copyright, just slashed because it was made up of other art forms. And I was like, holy crap, these guys are doing the visual form of what Girl Talk is doing.
You proposed a paper to the University of Michigan and then had the chance to speak at the Computers and Writing Conference. How did that go?
Golly, oh my gosh, I forgot about that one.
The paper proposal that I told you guys about for Ann Arbor, Michigan has been accepted.
I'm actually going to telecommute this conference.
That was unheard of at that point, that it would be, a stream in for the conference presentation.
Hello, my name is David Bailey. I'm coming to you from Altamaha Technical College in Brunswick, Georgia. This project has been a long time coming. I've been working on this for a good 5 months, I think. And it's actually pretty daunting to try to fit all of this into a simple 15-minute video.
Honestly, you're going to be really disappointed. I don't think it was received very well. I don't think there was a lot of discussion. I don't think a lot of people even really watched the stream.
I do want the academic community to take a good, long, hard look at what they're doing, because they are the soldiers in the copyright war. They are the ones who are changing definitions, creating new genres of art.
But at the same time, the fact that it was accepted means a lot in and of itself. And it wasn't long before even there was discussion of what was going on at Yale. They had that level of validation. They were the real heroes who were standing up to forces that were so much bigger than them. They were the ones who were fighting a lot of the battles that Lawrence Lessig was writing about. I just really loved these guys. They were so cool. I'm gonna leave it there.
It sounds like you would say the actual Yale article was the high point for YTP academically.
Yeah, that was a big deal for me at the time, and that was also really the time I really stepped away. Once they got recognition from such a huge institution, I was like, that's it, it's there. Yale has seen you, yet you have officially lost control.
Go beyond the academic circle, because let's face it, no one cares about academics anymore. Academics don't shape the conversation. Academics really don't do anything. People like me coming in from the outside, we can't change anything.
I dropped out of the world of scholarship. I just don't have it anymore. And so my ability to connect you with other scholars, it's not there. You know who might be able to help you?
Dr. Ruth Alexandra Moran.
I teach in the National Film School in Ireland, and I'm a lecturer in critical and contextual studies in screen arts. I started studying innovative online audiovisual practices just in general. So a little bit of my background is I've been studying media since the mid-90s. So I remember when the future was digital. I was really, really interested in what was coming out in these spaces that wasn't like trying to pretend to be film or, look like TV, something that is very much of the space that it comes from, probably starting in 2008, 2009. I came across YTP and was really attracted to how digitally specific that art form is, how very specific it is to the space that it's created in, and how it kind of speaks to us about the experience of that kind of digital culture.
Can you tell me what you did wrong? No!
I was raised by TV. I teach TV. Look at my job. I'm very deep in media culture. That interest for me has always been there. I just didn't have the confidence to say, look, this is important for ABC reasons. And so it took me that while to kind of get my chops, get my confidence. and really start to say, actually, this is important and I'm going to talk about it. I was a new PhD researcher. I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm really interested in this area that nobody else seems to be interested in. Is this something that's going to get me laughed out of the academy? So it took me a really long time to kind of develop my own critical methodologies, my own way of looking at this stuff.
When you were going through these videos, how often did you see something worth talking about in these?
Of the ones I bookmarked, there would be some aspect and I think, oh, that's really interesting and how it speaks about whatever it is. Quite often, I would say that I always found something particularly in YTP.
Link, go to Gamelon.
The idea of the database. If you were to explain that to someone who, I guess, hasn't heard, that is a concept on the internet. I'm curious how you would explain that.
So let's say we had libraries, museums, other archives, all geolocated, all in a particular space on the planet, all with preclusions to access. There we would have very distinct kind of curation. That's the film museum, that's the science museum, demarcated fields, very much still in practice there. It's kind of foolish to think that everything that we have now exists online or exists in the database, but really that's how we operate. If we look for something, we Google it. We don't get on a bus into town and think, where am I going to go? This is gone. And this is the whole impact of the database, this unprecedented access that we have to media, to culture, to art, to text, to each other, to everything that has come just from digital technologies.
The one thing you could rely on with a library is that if someone hasn't checked it out, it's going to be there. And in some cases, those books sit there forever and are never touched. Now we have the opposite, where things can be highly popular and referenced, but being able to find it might be hard because it's actually deleted off of YouTube.
And this is a key aspect of that change from pre-digital to digital culture, is the ephemerality of everything now. YTP is even responding to this. Absolutely, videos disappear. But it's that kind of active curation that YTP is doing. This is bringing, Irish, European televisual culture to you.
Oh no, I could never be one of those. Have a cup of tea. Peppers, you big bastard. Now don't be silly. You big hairy bastard.
Yes, it's ephemeral. Sometimes you'll find videos, like I found the videos last week, that they all exist online, but when they're gone, they're gone. And I think that's why it's really, really important that we acknowledge them through research, that we acknowledge them through study. Really important not to allow something that's ephemeral to just disappear. We can store it in our intellectual practice, even if we can't actually store every piece of everything that everybody has ever made.
Just to let you know, these YouTube poops, most of them, are already banished from the internet. I can't find them.
You don't have project files, and that you don't have a copy of these videos that are on your channel. I'm assuming that's just because you didn't think to back them up on your old computer?
Yeah, they're just lost. There was a point in time where, I would just throw out the footage.
Obviously, a lot long lost since, lost the original, upload of the video.
Unfortunately, YouTube is gone now, and with its Wikipedia along with it, a great deal of YouTube poop history is just gone now. It's a real shame.
2009, I downloaded this, giant, source pack for YTPs, and it included all the old CDI cutscenes and stuff and some sound effects and whatever. That one's lost to time as well, so I have no idea where that is.
One channel that people heavily relied on in the early YTP and V days was this channel called Source Museum. It was a museum that documented publicly available popular sources. So you have the Bender from Futurama going, our universe is doomed, and Chang from Community screaming, ha, gay! They would isolate these samples so you could just download them from this YouTube channel.
It's kind of rough looking back because a lot of the greatest videos of the time have been lost and no one has them archived, so they're just kind of gone forever. I think that's how a lot of artistic creative mediums start off, where no one really takes it seriously, and then with a many decades or even centuries historical perspective, they start to see that, oh wow, this was actually an important piece in the development of this entirely new genre that no one even anticipated would have been a thing.
There is like some quality like degrading. I look at videos from the past and they're like, these are like unwatchable. You look at Revenge of the Bad Madman and then that's like, it's just blurry. And I remember it being so blurry when I made it, and people back then, they're like, it didn't look like this.
YouTube poop scare, Sweep City.
Spider-Man won't let me take any more pictures.
You're fired. Miss Brandt?
Yes.
Give me a violin.
It's just some weird change of compression and the fact that they just stay here. Yeah, then like I don't know, it's just weird that this site is the same, but it changed so much.
Recently you've come back to YouTube in the last year or two?
Yeah.
So what prompted that?
A lot of people were asking about my videos. There was an archive that was uploading whatever they could have. The Lost Media Wiki forum, somebody made a thread about me. I saw that thread and I'm like, okay, well, I better come back.
There's always been some people who just go out of their way to archive poops because they get lost all the time. They end up getting taken down, or they get deleted because the person decided to just blam their channel without a second thought.
I have been re-uploading a few YTPs that I've noticed are just gone and I can't find anymore. I've been making a playlist of like hundreds of just YTPs that I have downloaded and saved because I know they could just disappear just like that.
It's mostly the watchers backing the stuff up.
I didn't download it for the sake of preservation. I just downloaded it because I just liked it and I thought it was funny and I wanted to hold on to it. And eventually that paid off.
Videos getting deleted from YouTube has always been a problem. Nowadays it's even worse, but even back then it was still quite an issue, especially due to copyright, which has relaxed over the years. It used to be much more strict when it came to sourcing things, even if it was free use.
There's another user I want to mention real quick. His name is Hoskins. He started a project to store and maintain these remixes in case these big users, these popular users, these leaders in the movement get banned, so that if they get banned, their work will continue on. Their work will be preserved.
Where did the idea for the YouTube poop backup project come from?
Goober got hacked and all his videos got deleted, and we were like, if this happens to any of us, then we're gonna lose all our videos.
One of my friends decided to buy a FTP server and start hosting things there, to have like all of the backups of random YouTube poop music videos, entire backups of channels that are still up to be uploaded on that FTP server in case anything ever goes wrong. People could access it again.
One person especially, Exploit 1080, he did a lot of the work.
So many YTPs we can see today only in the form of like somebody's iPod converted video because they like the YTP so much they put it on their iPod and now it's the only copy that's left in existence.
I stopped paying for the servers to hold that held the FTP and we just lost everything.
How many videos do you think you backed up before it went away?
A lot. Several whole channels and the best of others.
I'm confident your videos have been backed up 100 times over per video.
No, not even just backed up. They've been remade.
Yes, I noticed someone remastered your Resident Evil video.
My boy, this piece is what all true warriors strive for. No! That was meant to happen! Lewis.
Oh, shit! Mario Pronner did that. He did that himself. He did that video essay on me, and he did a remake of that video. And then Corndog Ninja remade the Spider-Man video.
Miss Brandt?
Yes.
Give me a violin.
What is that like, to see that someone cares about your weird video so much that they remade it?
That's just unbelievable. I can't put into words. It feels very reassuring because I feel like my life, I've gone through so many ups and downs and going through a lot of stuff and dealing with a lot of people. But things like that, they really mean a lot to you.
The fact that like you can put up a video, you can delete it, but others already have it, that's like giving people a little extra anxiety. Like, oh, you can't actually delete what you did on the internet because people saved it. But I mean, to me, it's just YouTube poop. It's just funny videos to me. Don't take it so serious.
Can you elaborate on how YTP reveals our cultural understanding of the database?
The database has changed how we think about media, about audiences, about where the media should be. So now we have porn, kids TV, film, news program, tutorial, whatever, all in the same space. Whereas it was very clearly demarcated before. There was like, you know, a creepy shop down a back alley that you got your porn in. We had a very clear idea that Oh God, well, children would never, having children's TV cut, warped, adapted, looped to make it sound like something pornographic is being said is totally obliterating the line between children's TV and pornography, which of course is conceptually very interesting. The reality of it is of course quite shocking, which is the power of YTP. YTP is really expressing that kind of melting of those divisions. Everything is up for grabs, everything is available, and everything is within, the one narrative. So then we really have to ask ourselves about moral kind of considerations in that sense.
To me, the great hope is that now these little 8mm video recorders and stuff are coming around. Some just people who normally wouldn't make movies are going to be making them, and suddenly one day some little fat girl in Ohio is going to be the new Mozart, and make a beautiful film with her little father's camera recorder, and for once the so-called professionalism about movies will be destroyed forever, and it'll really become an art form.
People were even asking if the thing is art, and well, I don't know about that, but
I used to describe it as an art form.
What would be your reservation with calling it art?
I remember back when most people it wasn't considered art. I don't know why that was the case personally. I've always found it to be some form of art, but I don't know, it's very unusual. Even though I'm also an artist, but I don't typically use my YouTube poops as a means of, showing my art craft, means just to simply entertain people.
You don't need to put it into this art box that people have to judge it upon because it's called YouTube poop. You don't really have to care if what you make is considered good by others because others will always think it's shit.
Any kind of art form, no matter how ridiculous it is, and I know there's always going to be people that if you say art form and you're talking about YouTube poop, they're just going to immediately make some judgments about your character, but that's what it is. It's an art form, regardless of how legitimate you want to treat it.
I would compare it to an abstract art painting or something like a Salvador Dali, where it's just very bizarre, but it uses assets that are familiar to kind of create this uncanny impression.
There's a lot of interesting correlations to draw between what they were doing and what guys like Warhol were doing in New York, because all that avant-garde stuff causes a lot of weird civil wars even amongst the community.
I used to be very passionate about the idea that YouTube poop should just be this abstract art form, just shapes and flashy colors.
YouTube has kind of transitioned from a beginner era. Back in the days, they were mostly joke-based.
There's a term for it, just the more warped style.
The experimental genre has grown a lot throughout these years. The entire video has absolutely no jokes, but visual effects like 3D effects, everything spinning around.
Microprocessor is one YouTube pooper that's a great example of what I'm talking about. That's just straight up art, and for a while that was the kind of YouTube poop that appealed to me the most.
Experimental YouTube poop, something that I feel like every YouTube poop is, but weirdly we label some of them experimental.
Well, the distinction between an experimental and a non-experimental poop was that your typical YouTube poop has lots and lots of jokes. It's a lot of the classic YouTube poop edits, stutter loops and speed up slowdowns and sentence mixing. Whereas the experimental ones, there was more of an ambient vibe with highly edited visual planes. There was an interesting movement of a lot of the foreign YouTube poopers, especially guys from France, like my friend Levy and Susi Verte. They were doing a lot of the ambient stuff. They would take a music track and then take some footage of something and just edit the fuck out of it and create this kind of moody piece. And I always found it very fascinating.
Why is YTP worth studying?
I have respect for YTP as an art form. I think all art forms are worthy of study. To really kind of dig into what is this saying to us about how we live? How is this then expressing maybe new ideas or, new perspectives on the world? It's something that really needs to be, really closely examined before perhaps it disappears. Who knows? What's important about art at all? What's important about film? What's important about even expressing ideas? And why should anyone listen to anybody's ideas about culture? And I think there you find the touchstones with anybody. Bringing somebody towards YTP, it's quite difficult because, they're quite jarring, crude, and so on and so on. But I think if you really kind of pare away, these kind of elitist kind of views on what can be art and what can't be art, we're very much past the postmodern period now, or at least we should be. And so YTP should be up for grabs just like anything else. But I do find I have to have these conversations quite a lot with academics that I meet, because there isn't that kind of history and there isn't that kind of recognized field. It can be a struggle to get people to really kind of take it seriously. You are like the first cold call, let's say, that I got about the paper. Everything else was, from talking to colleagues, going to conferences, presenting my research, then the kind of network that I built up around my colleagues working in that journal. It is really, really difficult to get any kind of attention. There's thousands of papers being published every day. The major thing is that they cost so much. I was so pleased that you contacted me about this, especially because it's so long ago. I couldn't believe anybody actually read it.
Academia is a game about reputation. And if you don't have the publishing reputation, you don't get the clout, right? No one knew who I was, and I never got my PhD. And I published one article in an academic collection about environmental scanning and futuring. I just don't wield the clout to draw a massive, even a really healthy audience.
In media studies in general, there is the propensity towards either two poles of research, which is commercial product. So national cinema, Netflix, whatever it is, there's an awful lot of focus on that. And then the other side of that is experimental art practices that you see in the dark in a room in some city somewhere. The space that my research operates in is something that really is overlooked by the academy. There is a sense of how do you justify what a 12-year-old is doing at her desk in her room, and why is that of value? I don't think I've ever been able to get funding from an Irish government body for anything that I've researched, because I can't say it's really important because it says this about Ireland, or it's really important, it's just like, I think it's important. Well, who else thinks it's important? Well, nobody really. Okay, see it,
Sounds like you think YTP benefits from an academic audience.
Yeah, that's a really complicated question. Does it benefit? What does pop culture want with them anyway? Do they want the people who make it? Do they want the products that they were using? No, they wanted the concept, right? They took the concepts and then they co-opted the concept for their own purposes. And so if anything, it got stripped of the things that made it YTP. And then it was, God, that's really depressing. That might have been the beginning of the end.